hard like dog. Them a bark and a pass them remark. Their mind and heart full of demon talk. So from them I depart. Hey, all the truth me a talk, some man a talk. Both them a dog a heart. Their mind is cold like an iceberg, and their teeth is a razor sharper. Hey, judging not for the wrongs I've done, neither for the things I talk. My car is a modern day chariot. My guitar is a broken harp. Hey, see them a laugh when me back turn. Them a talk about me a skylark until they know what's right from wrong. We're 1,000 miles apart. Hey, I'm living in a concrete jungle, every way so dark. So I'm in tune with nature. Every day I walk the park. Hey, I see the birds on the beach, feel the breeze to the trees. Now hear these talk. My hair is off the branches and my skin is off the bark. Hey, are you in tune with nature when night turns dark? Sometimes I light a candle and feel the vibration from my heart. Hey, I feel this fire burning from my heart as a voice cries out in the wilderness and an angel plays a harp. Many man and woman, then I love my song about God kingdom. They always seeking wickedness because them a demon. They will always plan to do something wrong. Them a Satan's son, like a lamb to a slaughter. Send them come. Girl, you have some man that will put you in a temptation. They will promise you things where your man can't give you. Tell them to move on. Man, you have some girl will live a life of confusion, sleeping with so many different men and bring confrontation. I'm an innocent man in a world of temptation, like I was done with the mental slavery. I'm a free man, far away from the moon and sun. There's a place where you call London. It's a part of the earth where I come from, but not where I belong. Hey, big planes pollute the skies and clothe me away from the sun. No matter what they do or try, we shall overcome. Hey, from a faraway land is where we come from, where the air is pure and free. No pollution, where we can taste the water. No contamination, and I'll be there. I will sing my song, I'll sing aloud from a faraway land, far away from the sun. There's a part of the earth where I come from, but not where I belong. Freedom in a God kingdom, I know that will be done. God knows I'm a free man. I'm a free man. Yeah, oh, God knows I'm a free man. I'm a how many more war and bloodshed? How many more gun? How many more lying preachers and religions? How many more acts of violence? How many more bomb? How many more God? How many more? How many more? Oh, Lord, yeah. God knows I'm a free man. I'm a free man. Yeah. Oh, God knows I'm a free man. I'm a
Hi everybody, hi, how you doing? Let me get my screen. I'm looking at somebody. Yes, so as you can see, I could not resist. I had to come on again. You know me, just couldn't resist because I know I don't like to leave things hanging. So today is gonna be about the dark side of empaths. I don't know if anybody knows much about it, but yeah. And I keep getting the days mixed up. The Saturday resemble Friday, Friday resemble next day resemble next day. Hours go quickly, time going fast, crazy. Hiya, hiya, big Philly OG. So today we're gonna cover the dark side of empaths, because um yeah, dark side of empaths. And also what I've come to notice as well, they talk about the narcissist that is attracted to empaths and stuff like that. So I am gonna play a video, obviously, which you know I always do it. I'm gonna share the screen as well. But I like to have things all lined up in accordance with what is going on. Oh, that some of these. Oh, okay. So these ones that are on Google are mostly coping mechanisms and stuff like that. But there is a dark side to the empaths. See if I can find a dark side that I did find earlier. Because yeah, everything has to make sense. Let me put it down here because it goes a bit weird. Okay, so hi, good afternoon, everybody. See, this is why it's better to do it at night time. You see, it's quieter. So if I have to do two videos in one night, that's even better. You know, some time to get them done in different times. Okay, so what I'm gonna cover is the dark side. I'm trying to find the right articles to put up. Okay. I always have it on big screen. Right? Oh, okay. Sorry, excuse my coughing, everybody. So we can angle this, so we can get all bars showing. Okay, turn everything up. Okay, so as I talk about the positive side of empaths, there's a dark side to it, but we're going to cover, hopefully, if everybody's on panel and stuff, then we can have an exchange so we can come to a middle ground understanding of the dark side and the light side of empaths. So I'm going to add a video to it like I always do, because you know the video sometimes makes more sense than when I'm talking sometimes. So this is the dark side of empaths. So empaths are typically known as healers of the world. They are the people whose senses are heightened, the ones that are not only see the different energies of the world, but actually feel them, experience them. Those who are not empaths might think that this ability to feel what others feel is a gift. But if you can convince an empath to talk about their gift, they might tell you that it's not always sunshine and rainbow. In fact, it's quite often not a very fun gift to possess at all. Because of their gift, so many people rely on them for support. Empaths are almost always trusted because they make people feel safe. And while the empath is capable of handling the emotions of others, they also experience quite a bit of stress because of it. The dark side of being an empath comes in the form of having two conflicting voices consistently roaring at each other inside of their heads, consistently feeling both the good and the bad, the negative and the positive, to the point that they feel overwhelmed. The empaths are more sens- sensible or consequently to susceptible to the negative energies in life. The intense ability to feel and can't get away from the deep rooted evils that exist in the world. Their deep understanding of how the world exists and operates is enough to confuse and sadden them. What they can't understand is why the type of energy exists in the first place, if all if all it does is hurt others. The dark side of being an empath is consistently being exhausted, uh, frigid from the energies you observe. But you never know it because the empath never dares break down or lose composure. They quietly observe and acknowledge and feel. As others do, empaths want to be loved and accepted for who they are, but it is generosity and kindness that often sees them being taken advantage of, ooh, by those who only take and never give. Empaths are givers by all means, ready to show kindness to those in need at all times. The dark side of being an empath is not knowing that being so selfishness places an incredible heavy burden on oneself. Even the empaths that do recognize the the burdenism nature of their selfishness often choose to ignore it because carrying that weight is more meaningful than letting it fall on someone else's shoulders. The other side of being an empath is knowing that you are willing to neglect both your body and mind for the sake of others. A neglect that builds over the years, eventually resulting in the need to go soul searching once again, a practice that we only take up when we feel completely lost. Oh, this is a lot. Let me see if it's good. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I skipped a bit. Okay, the dark side of being an empath is knowing that even they fall in love, they never do, and they never do so entirely. They simply aren't capable of giving every ounce of their heart to someone else. They know if they tried, the intensity of passion would most likely be too much to handle for themselves and their partners, which is why they always keep a little part of them hidden away from the rest of the world. They keep a guard up out of necessity, and even if they want nothing more than to let it down, to succumb to an overwhelming love. Oh, this is sad. The dark side of being an empath is the war that is always being waged within. The war they wage against the sadness, the darkness, and the sorrowfulness side of themselves. That is always trying to rear its ugly head and lead them into this self destruction. The only way they can fight this is successfully by learning to di- distinguish between distinguish between emotions that are their own and emotional energies that are imposters invading from the outside. Empaths need people who understand who they are and people they can talk to and who will listen. Empaths need to be able to let down the wall they built up around their feelings so they can let their empathic selves do good in their own world. Otherwise, empaths are destined to fight a war within themselves that never ends. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. That's all I can say. Here is some key points on this one. I think this article is going to be a great example. I was checking out certain parts. Actually, I can highlight certain parts, I think. Now, the part that gets me, right? Now the part I felt. What was that part? I can't remember which part I was reading. There's a part I felt, or where it said, I think the one about the walls, the one about love. And I think that's why I know everybody throws this narcissistic word around everywhere. That's probably why narcissists are attracted to an empath, because they are susceptible to love and they can feel stuff, and a narcissist probably sees that in them. I think I'm going to get a video on this one because my explanation is a bit frivolous to say the least, but I did see a video that's in line with this same thing what they just said. Oh, my ears popping. Where did I see it? Society one. Oh, and there's also a lady where she talks about the soul searchers and stuff, which is what they're doing, the soul search. It's not frivolous. OMG sounds like me. He sounds like you, Christine. I think I heard a little bit of myself in that too. I'm trying to find. There's an empath warrior. He had a dark side here before. Where's it gone? Oh, yes, here it is. I know I saw it.
What is the dark side? It's basically anything that...
So below it's been a bit weird now. Because I moved it from the other side. The narcissist and the empath now. I can't find it. That's interesting. I've been looking for it from before I come on. Okay. Can't find the dark side. It's saying about the other dark side, and we're not looking at that right now. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, so they said that empaths. It feels like it's playing about. They said that empaths sabotages relationships and stuff like that. I think it all depends on that level. I think it all depends on the situation. I think. Let me see if I can get this one up. The sabotage one.
6 ways that empaths sabotage their relationships. What are six common ways that empaths land up sabotaging the relationships around them through their natural behaviors and actions? Being an empath is not easy. You basically live life experiencing your own feelings, as well as the feelings of most of the people around you. On a day-to-day basis, just the feelings alone can be enough to drown you, and any extra stress can quickly send you over the edge. Yet, we seem to be good at creating expressed unwittingly, especially in our relationships.
What are the common mistakes that empaths make that sabotage their relationships? 1. Thinking for your partner. This could also probably be labeled having a fight in your own head. You know what I mean, right? You're upset with your partner and you start venting or practicing what it is you plan to say to him or her, and you land up having and resolving the fight inside your head without any participation at all. Yes, you do feel better, but your partner has missed out on the benefit of the process, and you substituted what you wanted to hear. Your ideal responses for what your partner would have actually said. Over time, this leads to a lot of disappointment because you're remembering promises and agreements that were never actually reached in the relationship, only in your head. 2. Speaking for your partner. In the same vein, as empaths, we have a tendency to compensate and speak for the other person. You know how that goes. It starts with the thought like, okay, so he battles to ask for help and he sounds down and like he needs love. Let me stop what I'm doing and go and give him love so that he feels better. Yes, you're fulfilling your purpose and being a good person, but you're also teaching the other party that they don't have to communicate their needs. You'll always be able to see inside their heads. Over time, you will also get resentful, but you always have to stop everything to look after this person's needs, fostering anger and irritation in that relationship. Even though it is you that is the catalyst, you've created your own obligation to stop what you're doing and meet this person's immediate emotional needs.
3. Looking after your needs. At the same time that you're talking and thinking for your partner, as an empath you tend to carry the load for meeting your own needs within the relationship. So instead of going to your partner or friend for help, you keep on carrying them emotionally, and you carry yourself, not allowing the other party to lead you. You don't ask for advice or assistance or let people know when you're down or low because of 2 reasons. First, you have created a habit of only relying on yourself, and second, you expect people to be able to see and interpret for themselves that you are low. It's what you do after all. 4. Compromising your needs. Once the emotional load of the relationship, the other person and your own stuff becomes too much, you compromise on the easiest place to compromise, yourself. In order to save time, you only focus on the relationship and your partner or friend, neglecting your needs and ignoring your system. Over time, you forget all these small compromises and you just feel the heaviness burden. This usually vents in an explosion of, nobody cares about me or my needs. The sad truth is that it's us who always compromise our own needs. 5. Not expressing yourself. A long-term effect of compromising your needs is that you stop expressing your needs altogether. It's like manifestation. In order to get what you want from the universe, you have to tell the universe what it is that you want and focus on it intently. So many empaths feel that their needs aren't met in their relationships, and equally as many of us are guilty of not telling people what we want or what is going on with us. What is going on with us is a big one here, because we don't take the time to explain ourselves either. We're too busy understanding the other person, you see. For someone who is not an empath, the sudden swings and ups and downs, especially when they seem to be caused by nothing, can look really scary and confusing. 6. Breaking your boundaries. The last unhealthy behavior that empaths exhibit in relationships is around boundaries. When we're pressed to do something that conflicts us, our DIY programming kicks in and we have the fight in our own head, most often choosing to cross the boundary internally on our own. Do this enough times and you'll feel like you've walked miles for the other party's benefit, while they have absolutely no inkling of the level of sacrifice you've made for them. Finally, boundary breaking leads to anger. Anger at myself because I've crossed my own internal boundaries or anger at another that has crossed my boundaries. Each time you allow your boundaries to be crossed, another little bit of unexpressed anger builds up. Over time this accumulates exponentially and you'll end up fuming with a person and hating them for walking all over you.
Wow. That is truly true. So, you see, so an empath can literally sabotage their relationship by not doing certain steps, by not being open to the other side, to the partner, guy, boyfriend. Also, not crossing out of boundaries and stuff. I think, yeah, I can relate to that one. Yeah. So there are many loops to this one because I know there's other loops to it too. Just these things are not answering my question steadfastly. Okay. Oops. The Empire starts what we don't want you to know. Okay. So I've also got another article because I don't know whether you can hear with all that fizzing noises. It's gonna come out really weird. Hi, Miss Rue. Yeah, I've been told I am. Sometimes it comes and goes though. It comes and goes. I can sometimes reach into people and sometimes I think it all depends actually. It all depends. Uh, the Empire starts side what we don't want you to know. Let me see it in categories. Lack of integrity. Empaths are the kindest and most dependable people out there. They are yet integrity is lacking if you don't let your yes be yes and your no be no. Empaths are notorious for lacking integrity when they are unable to set healthy boundaries with others. It ultimately hurts themselves and is influenced by savior or martyr complexes, which are discussed later in this post. Oftentimes, empaths will say no and they walk back on that to a yes under pressure. Some empaths cannot even say no to people due to fear the reactions. That fear of those reactions can be justified too. I've seen a grown man go into a full tantrum because I said no, yet I was open to other solutions and more information. I didn't walk back on my no because by the time I learned that this takes the greatest toll on self-trust. When we cannot trust ourselves, we have created a problematic division within us. Energy feeding. Hi, Tripsies. Empaths have to learn boundaries to be comfortable with darkness. Yeah, they do have to learn, but they find it difficult to say no. They find it hard to put up that boundary. Notoriously, especially when you're forced to say yes. But you have to know your strength, you see. I think this is the so-called shadow work that I think I'm dealing with at present. Because the boundaries you have to be very strict with yourself. Empaths also attract low vibrational people. They do, but you have to learn to also recognize and know when you see that person coming. You have to recognize it because people give off red flags as well. So you have to know, like, if an empath is put in a position where they have to fight or flight, fight or flight, fight or flight, most most empaths will lash out, I think, because they're overwhelmed and they had too much of the low vibrational. But you have to recognize it. You have to know what you're dealing with as well, because if this thing was working very well, there's one we were saying that how empaths normally attracts narcissists. That narcissist word. If only it were that easy. I know it's not easy at all. It's not easy. And judging by some of these titles on this article, I think it says a lot. It's not just that. Once you can master the darkness, you will be fine. They lash out verbally, not physically. Yeah, definitely, because it builds up to that place. The reason why I say that, because I have experienced certain stuff, and it does build up. They want to draw on what you have. It's like the mental sister Byronic relationship. Yes. Well, what she says. So yeah, because look, it says the energy feeding. We don't just pick up emotions, we feed on them. It's different from energy vampirism, as the emotions are freely given and we give back in mutual exchange, meaning we don't drain you dry. When you are consistently bombarded with the feeling of others, you are going to want to be more surrounded by ones you enjoy feeling. What does that look like? It's exactly a way of performing context reaction out of the audience. Empaths have preference of emotional favors that they enjoy bringing out of others around them. Most often, these are what we consider positive emotions. But if an empath has had an adverse or dramatic upbringing, they may end up preferring negative emotions, which will be discussed later on in the post. A downside for the energy feeding is the creation of codependent behaviors, which is the next dark side trait. Okay, let me see what you're saying. Yeah, but the narcs are okay to manage and get rid of it. Get get off it if you develop or understand self. Oops. Yes, you must as an empath learn to connect the darkest nest. Lashing out diminishes once you are able to manage your empathic nature. Yes, but there is ways to manage your empathic behavior. That's why I've got to do the Reiki one. So people who's not Reiki can use. You have to learn to switch off as well. You have to learn to switch off, I'll say, emotions. That negative emotion stuff only comes from I have I have you running, but I'm about to crank you up. Okay then, alright, gypsies. Yeah. So you have to learn to guard yourself. You have to switch off emotions. I think as an empath, you need to switch off that emotional side of you sometimes. You've got to be cold to a certain extent. You only need to be cold in certain situations, i.e., if you're put in a corner and you feel that, okay, this is not for me, then you switch it off, because sometimes you have to be tough. You can't always take in the energies that surround you all the time. So codependency, savior, and martyr complexes. Codependencies can be fostered for many reasons. One way this can happen is when the empaths get locked into or addicted to external stimuli or ideas that they can fix people, make them happy, etc. Let me clarify that yes, most are healers of various kinds. Yes, healers cannot heal someone who doesn't want to be healed. As a matter of fact, lawsuits have occurred because people didn't want to be healed or saved. Within an empath savior complex, there are these underlying thought patterns or behaviors that scream, I need you to need me, or I can help you and heal you. Within this are our underlying feelings of wanting to be accepted, loved, and valued. The worst part is because we weren't discovered that ourselves. When I was married, I was always trying to help or solve the problems my ex had, and he had plenty. As a matter of fact, he's more in love with his problems than solutions. I was addicted to trying to save him and solve the problems, and that ended up a damaging circle. I was not seeing the fact that he enjoys his problems. I needed to leave him to them. The martyr complex is similar to the savior complex, whereas it is sacrificing yourself for another's well-being, but they never ask you to do it. To do that, and likely they don't want or need you to go to the lengths of self-harming, so they end up feeling awful, exhausting you, and you feel devalued, resentful, and drained. It's a form of depression to force the agenda of removing pain while forgetting that the person we are trying to help needs to truly be on board with the plan. When they are not, is when the problems are more occur. We must learn the art of detachment. Yes, art of detachment as well. Hold on, I'm hoping it's not going to go right. I think if they are not in control of themselves, they can be emotional, but self-awareness and understanding is the key. Yes, you have to have a full self-awareness of yourself. What's it? The mind, body, spirit complex comes to mind, where like you have to know how much torture can you take from somebody, because you're literally torturing yourself. You're trying to put somebody together, which women are notorious for doing this. They are the biggest ones. Save a man kind of situation. Hi, Sunkiss. Save a man, save a man, save a woman. You can't save everybody. Sometimes you have to leave people to their own devices. Well, it all depends on the situation, because, like, if a person is in need at that time and you're there and you feel the urge to help, that's why people do voluntary work. That's why people do voluntary work, basically counseling, certain things, because they have that empathic touch in them. So they're able to save people, but there's others you can't save all the time, you know. So let's see what the thin line between narcissists and empaths. This is going to be tough triggering for some, but it needs to be put out there. There's another reason narcissists tend to attract empaths and empaths narcissists. Empaths and narcissists are not that far off from one another, and actually it is not abnormal. Most people can develop narcissistic traits from time to time. Yes, narcissists are likely to implode others who buckle under the weight of trauma. Empaths are like the sun giving light, and narcissists are black holes seeking to regain their light. This is also where we get to dive deeper into the empaths. We have had advice, first upbringing, and may prefer bringing out negative emotions from the others. These types can be straight up narcissists or dark empaths. The line between empath and narcissist further gets blurred as empaths will often mirror others as well. However, the most interesting revelation of this thin line is the manipulative tactics narcissists employ quite successfully. Manipulation takes empath. When we think of empathy, we automatically lump into sympathy with that. With that, empath is neither positive or negative. There is no sub, 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 solution on how it's employed. We haven't looked at the fact that it can be and is often weaponized. Manipulation is usually used through emotional psychological means. Remember how empaths conducts their favorite emotions. This form of manipulation, it is usually enjoyable for both parties. Yet a narcissist does the same thing by using and reading emotions for payoff that is not mutually beneficial. So how we have negative, our dark side, oh, you know, uh, I can't even say the word. I can see it, sorry, my dyslexia is kicking in now. Shadow work, healing, and I personally use navigate, sorry. So how do we navigate our dark side? Shadow work and healing, and I personally use the ideology of self, I can never say the word, where I become aware of my entirety, so I bring awareness to what it is that I do and how that affects myself. Sorry, dyslexia kicked in. Okay, this way we learn this over time. Oh, yeah. Liberating, powerful. Oops. I find the knots boring. There's so many of them. There's knocks everywhere. Hold on. Absolutely mystery. We must do the shadow work, which can be painful, but often so fulfilling. Exactly. It's hard doing shadow work. I mean, they call it shadow work. I just call it work. I think it's work. They should just say working on yourself. 'Cause that's what you're doing. You're working on yourself, basically. There is a video pertaining to the narcissistic one, but I don't know how it's going to sound. Oops. I don't know how it's going to sound. Oh, I have to prepare things. Go next way. It's playing up. It's playing up because it's charging. Okay, let me see. There was one about the narcissistic trauma.
Hey, what's up, Diamonds? It's your boy.
This one sounds better than the last one. Okay, so let me hold that one there. Oops. And change the screen. So this is empaths and trauma. But I also have to find, like you said, the inner working one too.
Christopher Dockery, your favorite relationship and life coach, out here one more again, telling you what your father didn't tell you and your mother did not know. Listen, let me tell you something. After you have experienced dealing with a narcissist, 9 times out of 10, especially as being an empath, you have experienced PTSD. Okay, now this is normally associated with people that have been through war. Okay, some of the most horrific experiences one could go through. All right, and for example, like a soldier who comes home, they will tell you that when they hear fireworks, it puts them right back in that state of being in battle. Okay, and that's really what PTSD is. It reminds you, okay, of that original traumatic event that you went through, and you experience those emotions all over again, like you're right back on the battlefield. All right, now think about it this way. If you are an empath, you already feel 100 times deeper than the average person. So that means when it comes to trauma, you're obviously going to experience trauma at a deeper emotional level. All right, now if you've been involved with a narcissist, you've definitely experienced trauma with all the crap that they take you through, all the mind games, okay, all the abuse, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, everything that they have in a tool bag is designed to create this traumatic impact. And many of you might not even realize that you've experienced or are experiencing experiencing PTSD. Okay, for example, if you are having constant nightmares, okay, you hate going to sleep because you're going to dream about the narcissist, okay, and you're going to be terrified. If you're easily triggered, that could be with songs, it could be with pictures, it could be just with certain conversations, it could be with places, whatever it is. And when this happens, your whole week is destroyed. It's a wrap. Okay, you're feeling depressed, you're ruminating, you're thinking about what was, how come I wasn't good enough, why did they discard me? You're crying, you're going through the whole gamut. And here's the crazy part about it. You were feeling fine. Before that, you were good. All was well. And just out of nowhere, this trigger just slaps the taste out of your mouth. Okay, and you feel like you're constantly going through this deep, dark cycle. All right. So here's what you got to keep in mind, though. Now, one of the worst things that you can do is to have contact. All right. Because here's one of the things that an empath will tend to think, that if I go back, because I'm in such pain right now, and the only thing that really makes sense is going back, because when that narcissist comes and hoovers you and they cry and they beg and they all this kind of stuff, you think that maybe if I go back and maybe if I change something about myself, or maybe if I work hard or I do better, it will ease this pain that I'm going through. Because right now I feel like I'm dying 1,000 deaths. Okay, you just want the pain to stop. All right, it's like a crackhead going through withdrawal. It is no different. And it's only going to be a temporary fix. Hear me. Many of you know this because you've already gone back so many times and nothing changed. But you're entertaining doing it again because of the impact of this trauma that you continually experience. But that's why it's this vicious cycle. All right. So that narcissist, when you go back, they're nice for what? 30 seconds tops, maybe, and it's right back to the same old crap that it's always been. Okay. And as an empath, when you rationalize going back, you set yourself back. I mean, you made all this progress, and then you go all the way back to square one, 0. You were at 30. Now you got to go back to 0 and start all over again. Okay. Let me tell you something. You cannot use the cause as the cure. You can't use the thing that caused the problem to try to solve the problem. It does not work that way. See, a doctor does not prescribe crack to a crackhead. He just don't do it. He don't say, like, Tyrone, I only want you to take 2 of these a day. Okay. And Tyrone's like, okay, I hear you. Well, can I get them now? No, it does not happen like that. That would make absolutely no sense. So going back to the narcissist to think that this is going to somehow make things better, it's not going to happen that way. What you need is time, you need distance, and most importantly, you need to change how you process your thoughts and your emotions. Scripture says, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." That is how you get through this. You have to be transformed. Your mind has to be transformed. But this happens by it getting renewed, all right? And how does this happen? It happens based off how we learn how to view things and how we learn how to interpret the things that we view. For example, oh, this random thing happened. Oh, that means I'm supposed to go back to the narc. No, it doesn't. No. Just because, so you got to develop emotional intelligence. Just because you feel something and you feel that this thing is right, how many times has it felt right to go back to the narcissist and it was totally the wrong thing to do? See, that's when we have to renew our mind, okay? And that is how you take your power back. See, God is all about restoring the years that the locusts have stolen. See, God is a restorer. He will give you beauty for ashes.
Oh gosh, he's using the Bible. Hello? Hello? What's going on? Hello, hello, hello. Hello? Oh, you can hear me, right? Oh yeah, I see it now. It wasn't moving earlier. Yeah. So basically, I mean, he's using the Bible, but it's true. You have to try not to go back into patterns, regain your power against people like narcissism and stuff like that. Like when they talk about in the previous article, like I said, I mean, it's still at that point there. The thin line between narcissism and the empaths. So they're saying that how what we're doing, right, we're taking on their traits, basically. So the fact that the guy said that how right you have to take your power back, i.e. by not going back to certain empaths, not being there on tap for people, not being learning to say no, learning your boundaries. Like learning your boundaries, learning how to deal with people on a day-to-day basis, knowing when not to, when you're trying to help somebody, knowing when to pull back, which I had to learn the other day, learning to pull back. So um this article's quite deep, man. I actually got the burn on some of that. Oh yeah, being a martyr for people, codependency or a martyr. Like wow, how many times have we done that? Being a martyr, where like we fall underneath the the kiss ass to make people feel better, or kiss foot to make them feel good, and then later on it just blows up in our face. And what's the next thing I'm gonna say? I mean, when you're an empath, right, you're always open anyway. You're constantly open because, like they said, you're feeling everything. You're feeling everything what's going on around you, all the time. Like the smallest thing. Like I said, environment, particularly when you go outside, you'll feel the whole environment. Then it's learning how to turn that off when you're outside. You know. So um, I don't know how. I wish I could run back the thing, but I don't want the restream to play about. So, if anybody wants to come up on the panel, yeah, if anyone wants to come up on the panel, because then, like, I'm sure people have plenty dark sides to them. Like they call this shadow work. Apparently, I call it self work. It's the same self work you're doing. They're just giving it a different title. That's all it is. But it's knowing your dark side. Like I'm sure there's darker sides to this. I'm sure that's only the nice side. That still sounds nice. That don't even sound dark to me. That don't sound dark. Trying to Hiya.
Yeah, yeah, that first part, it was just like it was me. So me, so giving, always giving, and people are so willing to take, aren't they? Just so very willing to take. And the pain that you feel because we love very, very deeply, and
Mhm.
people don't understand that you can genuinely have that amount of love in your heart and compassion for all people.
Yes.
I'd love to save the world, and I'm
Same
having
here.
to learn that I can't save the world. I must save myself.
Mm.
In the process of giving, you have to learn that you also have to give to self.
Mm. Yes.
Very much so.
It's
The other thing about empaths is that people don't often like to hear their voice.
yes.
They
That's
don't like
true.
it. No, they don't like to hear our voice. They hate
Yeah.
to hear our voice. I think one of the reasons for that is that people from the dark side of life
Mm.
have always connected light and dark.
Mm.
Empaths only see light, they don't see
Mhm.
darkness,
Mhm.
which is why they allow themselves to be hurt time and time again, because they put at the forefront of a person the best side of themselves. So they'll see the best in a person
Mm.
rather than acknowledging the dark side of a person. They will put the best forward of that person and say, but that person is this and that person's that, but that person does have a bloody dark side. Acknowledge
Mm.
that dark side, and often the dark side will overshadow whatever light they have anyway.
Mm.
I don't know if that makes sense. I'm like you, I go off on tangents as well.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense, because especially the last video is strange, because I thought he was gonna talk about the something like the trauma, but the way he said it, like when you go back to the narcissistic one, and you're thinking of how they're gonna change, and then they change for a couple of days, and then they
Yeah,
change, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I remember going through that. I was like having flashbacks, like, oh my god, is he talking to me?
I know. Yeah, he was talking to me as well, because the marriage that I was
Yes,
in,
yeah.
he was a narcissist.
Mm.
Because, and I always say, he actually handpicked me.
Mm.
They handpick you.
Yeah,
They
they
have an
do.
MO. They know exactly what they want, and they go out and they get it. And it tends
Yeah.
to be somebody empathetic, you know.
Yes.
And I do. I always say this man 100% handpicked me.
Mm.
Mm, yeah. So
Yeah.
they, and we for some reason do attract these narcissists,
Yeah,
and we're
without
all,
realizing.
yeah.
You don't see
But
the red flags until afterwards.
no, you do see the red flags at the time, though. You absolutely
Mm.
do see the red flags, because empaths are like seers. So actually,
Yeah.
they see and they feel, but they
Mm.
dismiss what they see and they dismiss what they feel based on themselves
Yes.
and based on the
Yeah.
things that they would never do to another person. They
Yes.
dismiss the red flags, so they see the red. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of this. Um, the man that I married was a Yardy guy, a Jamaican.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I met him in Jamaica, and it's really interesting. Looking back on it now, I said to
Mm.
him, I said, have you ever smoked crack?
Mm.
I don't know why I said it.
Mm.
I've never said it to anybody else before or since. But I
Mm.
said to him, have you ever smoked crack? And he said to me, yes, I have. And I guess rather than me saying to him, well, have you stopped? I said, well, how did you stop? And he said, he just went cold turkey and stopped smoking the crack. Anyway,
Mm.
a couple of years later, he came to England and got in with this crowd of cronies and started doing the thing again.
Mm.
My body felt it, you know.
Mm.
I even had dreams about it. I dreamt about the white lady and all kinds of things. I'm not one of these kind of women that's particularly scared of an ex-woman anyway. If you want to do that, you do that. From me now,
Mm.
feel it.
Mm.
I'm not that kind of jealousy person.
Mm.
So when I got this dream about him being he was in a house, and I went up the stairs and I saw him and his friend standing there, and I knew the friend took crack,
Mm.
but still was not sure that he was taking crack. And then I saw a white lady. Now this is what they call this thing, the white lady.
Lady.
So it was
Yeah.
giving me, the dream gave it me plain that that was what he was doing. And it was my
Mm-hmm.
son that came to my house and actually found it.
Mm.
Yeah, he actually found it. And even on that day, he still denied that he'd ever used it or, use it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. They always deny stuff, because even it's like it's like they, especially when you face them with the thing with that thing
Yeah.
what they done, they
Yep.
deny it, and because like you can see through everything, like literally everything, they cannot like sort of handle that, or they find it strange or whatever,
Hmm. But a
because
narc has a tendency also to turn it back over onto you. Knowing that you're an empath, you will feel that pain.
yes, yeah,
So they
yeah,
do have a way of turning things back over onto you. It was you that made me do it. It's your fault. If you'd have done so and so, you've given me too much space. There's always an excuse that they will use that reverts it back onto you. Being an empath, you're going to pick up on that and feel that pain and say, well, if I'd have done so and so, then maybe so and so wouldn't have gone that way, you know?
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So we often blame self. We blame ourselves. Empaths blame self.
mm,
We do.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We
My
definitely
first
do.
experience, as I was saying, was with my mom. My mom was a
Mm,
narcissist, but my
mm,
mom knew from a very early age that I could see through shit. She knew that. I've not just been seeing things from today, I've been seeing things since the day I was born. I would tell her things from a very, very early age. That would probably have scared a narcissist.
Uh,
It would have probably scared her. So then she would have, she turned hate onto me
hmm,
to try to break me. She couldn't
hmm,
break me, and she didn't break me. But when I married the narcissist, oh my God, he did a fantastic job. Because then it's a different kind of love as well, isn't it? The love
yeah,
between a man and a woman is totally different
yeah,
between, a mom and a daughter.
yeah,
Totally, totally different. And you don't want to be a failure in your marriage, do you? You want your marriage to be successful. You want it to work.
hmm,
And so you give and you give and you give.
hmm.
Yeah.
Boy, I mean, I mean, like you, I used to always try with people.
Hmm.
I used to try, and like I said, my daughters is the one who called it out most of the time. And then I think the last time here, they called it out, and then I started withdrawing. I started withdrawing from the man as well,
Yeah.
because it was coming like it's coming like walking around in circles. Because like, don't you want to be happy with somebody, and you don't want the drama and stuff like that? Um, Right, it's like you will give up a little bit of yourself, but then when you find out you give up a little bit of yourself, you meet them halfway. Well, not I want to say comply. You meet them halfway because there's
Yeah.
only so much you can meet sometimes, right? You can't, right? All these words about submitting and all that. I don't submit to
I
nobody.
don't get
So
this submission business.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
really get it. Because despite being an empath, I am a warrior spirited empath, and I don't really let people ride over me like roughshod like that. You get me?
mm.
I can kind of defend myself.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well, it takes me to get to a certain point before
Yeah.
it gets to that level. They have to take me to the to some next level, and then afterwards, right? I don't recognize myself, and I think I see black, and then that's it. I think, and that's why I don't like to get into conflict with anybody, because like um, I've been known to do the metaphysical stuff on people on ones.
Oh, I've done
Well,
all sorts.
on him, on
Yeah.
him, and it has worked because so that's why I'm able to talk about intentions, because I've been there so many times myself. So sometimes when I put up certain videos, right, sometimes it was right as referring to stuff that's happened to me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of, you know what I mean. So yeah, I've been to that place where I'll be like, is it now really? But then my daughter have to talk me down off the ledge.
Yeah.
My daughter will be like, "No, mum, no, no," as
Oh,
usual.
I've 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 learned that revenge is not the best policy at all.
Yeah, yeah,
It's something that you have to learn though. When you've been hurt so many times as an empath, you can
mm,
want to seek revenge. You do become a narcissist yourself.
you
You know,
do,
yeah, you can
you
become a
do.
narcissist yourself.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they say, there's a fine line, isn't there, between narcissism and being empathetic.
yes, yeah, yeah. Because and not only that, it makes you bitter,
It
but
be, oh my God, I went through years of bitterness. I went
mm,
through years and years. Like my mum died in 1997, and for like the woman gave birth to 8 children, and out of the 8, she left 7 in the will and dismissed me,
mm-mm,
as yeah. Oof. But she did leave me with a greater legacy because for me, money is nothing, is it? It's butter against the sun. That's how I see
mm,
money. Yeah, we
mm,
need it. It's an enabler. But I
mm-hmm,
see it as butter as it gets into the sun. But the legacy she did leave in a will for me was that my daughter Christine is very resourceful. She will always find a way. And you know
mm,
something? She's bloody right. She's
mm,
absolutely right. I always find a way. Just when you think you're gonna hit rock bottom, something
mm,
comes along and just picks you up. You know?
It's true. It's true. It's
Yeah.
true, because that's one of my things. That's why I need to be actually going back on either. the thing I was doing before, or I need to be trying to do things via the net or something because um because I think when you're an empath, it needs like it's like yeah, I mean like you can help people, yeah, because some
Yeah.
will listen to you and some won't or whatever,
Oh,
but
most won't.
most won't.
No, no.
um,
Like it's really interesting. I stay with
mm,
my brother. He won't listen
mm,
to this. I
mm,
stay with my brother,
mm,
looking after him because he's not well
mm,
and he's also juked up a couple of times and shit.
mm,
Um,
mm,
which I begged not to and blah blah.
mm,
Anyway, he's allegedly with this woman who
mm,
has a son who got into the very, very dark side of life.
mm,
Recently, this son has started coming back around, and I pick up stuff of people. And I said to him, he's only coming here to get information. I don't trust him. My
mm,
brother also has a dog. The dog knows him very well. He's known him many, many years, and the dog's gone for him. And I'm
mm.
saying the dog is picking something up in his spirit. There's something in his energy field that that dog is picking up.
Oh,
No, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong at all with him. He's not coming here to get information. He's getting quite cross with me.
wow.
Anyway, earlier on this evening, it's really interesting. He was talking to the woman of the
Mm,
son,
mm,
and he's saying to her, "Oh, I saw your son today. He had on the same dirty clothes that he had on the other day." And I thought, you know something? You hate when I speak. You hate my voice. You
mm,
absolutely hate my voice. Because up to this point, everything I've ever told you, if it never goes so, it's very near so. I've never been
mm.
wrong. Because I'm not. And I'm not bragging and I'm not boasting, but my spirit is fed.
Yeah,
As an
yeah,
empath, your spirit is fed.
yes,
And
yeah.
you know, anyone who comes to his door, I'll pick up their energy. It's awful sometimes. A guy came in here, I swear. And I goes, I've never seen him in my life before. I said to him, you need to fix your soul.
Hmm.
And he sat down and he was talking to my brother, and I'm just observing and listening to him. And everything he was talking about was what other people had done to him. I never said anything. I just carried on listening to the conversation. And as he was going through the door, I said to him, you know something? You really do need to fix your soul. That
Hmm.
very evening, someone came to pick me up to take me back to my house.
Hmm.
We went we went down the lift to the front door, and when I got there I realized I'd left my phone upstairs. I said, I've left my phone upstairs. He said, okay, I'll wait for you in the car. I said, no, the last time I came back with you, so you need to come back with me. There was
Hmm.
3 people standing outside. I'd never seen them in my life before. I knew they didn't live in this block.
Hmm.
And as we came back through the door, they came through the door too. Two of them, two black guys and a white girl.
Hmm.
The guys had on masks. I said, could you please remove them? They're making me feel uncomfortable. I felt these people, their energy was shady.
Yeah.
We got in the lift. They didn't get into the lift. And we went up this, we're going up in the lift. And the guy said to me, that's so and so's girlfriend. He treats her really bad. She has to do this, that, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'd only seen him that day. So I immediately manifested. And then I started getting information from other people about this person too.
Hmm.
And then a couple of weeks later, my brother told me his mum had given him the telling off of his life, and not long after he died.
Hmm.
And the next time I saw the guy, I said to him, oh, because I could see that a light transfer had taken place over him. The
Hmm.
darkness that he had changed to a lightness. And he's now doing really well with life as well. He's doing ever so well, running his
Wow.
business. Because that cursing, that telling off, and then his mom dying really shifted him.
Maybe he needed to. Maybe that needed to happen. Like you say, maybe you needed.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe the generational curses, all that
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely,
It all
absolutely.
falls in one, doesn't it? It all goes
Yeah.
into one.
Well, I was listening to something today which was really, really interesting, and it was a Jamaican man, and he was talking about heaven versus hell.
Mm,
He doesn't have very many views, but what he has to say is so relevant.
mm,
So many much more people need to be listening to this guy. They need to be listening to this guy. Like I think people should be listening to you. People
mm,
should be listening to him. He's so organic. He's amazing. Now, where was I going with this? I was going to tell you something that he'd said.
mm.
It said something I can't. It's gone. It's flown out of my head, but I'm sure it'll probably come back to me. See, I go off on tangents like you. I do. I absolutely go off.
Can't help it. We can't
No,
help it, man.
no, no, we can't. We really can't help it. So if it
I
comes
think
back
that's a
again,
West Indian trait. I reckon.
it probably is. You know, it probably is. We absolutely do go off on. Oh yes, I know what it is now. This guy was saying about how many times we've been on this earth already.
Mhm.
So certain things that we're going through
Mm.
could be our karmic debts, not from this time, but from previous times. Because I've said I'm not coming back to this earth because I think this is hell.
Mm.
So I've said I will never come back to this earth. It's too wicked for me, too evil for me.
Mm.
This is horrible. This place called Earth. It's not the nicest of planets at all, with all the evil and wickedness that's on it at all.
Yeah, it's true.
No,
And not only that, like I said to Saida the other day, it is what's all up in the air, so above, so below. That's what's
yeah,
going on right now,
absolutely.
and people are opening portals every single day. Like today, I was on an Instagram, and the lady was dancing to Ocean. Now Ocean. This is not Ocean's Day. It is the sick one. I forgot his name now. Oceans. I forgot his name. Anyways, so I'm saying to myself now, look at this. Like, to be
Mm.
honest, it got me so mad. It got me so mad. I restrict and blocked the woman because, right, sometimes what happens to me is, right, I will see something. I know whatever, like, I will contact my friends. Oh, da, 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 da. I'll be going in. I go in because I can see what's happening, the misuse of everything, the
Yeah,
misuse of stuff, and it's not just me
yeah,
talking about it. Sunkist spoke about it the other day too, about the misusage of magic or something, and I
yes.
think another lady's talked about the misconception of the rishas and something, which I myself need to actually. I think I was gonna do one today, but on that particular subject. But now I thought, nah, you know what I mean? Just do your subject matter with
Yeah,
that one, with that one, I know my head's gonna get hot. I'm gonna get very
yeah,
moved and very, very upset
yeah. I agree
because
with you. I got a vision um,
mhm,
a few weeks ago, and I've got a sister like my brother. You know,
hmm,
who she's a Christian in the church. They
hmm,
hate her in the church, but she continues to go.
hmm,
And she and I were in a big hall, and I'm trying to say to her, look, listen to me. What I'm telling you is the truth. I'm not lying to you.
hmm,
And I'm telling her about the things that's going on in this world, and she doesn't want to listen to me. And I grabbed hold of her and I dragged her across to a window.
hmm,
And when we got across to the window, there's a beautiful green plant on the window ledge.
hmm,
All of a sudden, everything went dark.
hmm,
Inside and outside went totally dark, and everything was moving. The floor was moving. outside was moving. It was horrible. It was horrid. And I knew
Mm.
I had to kind of save her. And I'm just saying, as I'm in this vision, you have no power over me. You have no power over me. As I came out of the vision
Mm.
and I'm awaking, I'm
Mm.
saying the word power.
Mm.
And I said, to my fella, I said, I've just had a vision. And let me tell you something. There are people working while we sleep. There are dark
Yes.
entities and dark energies that are working while we sleep. And it's evil. That was a
Yeah.
portal that opened. That was a
Mm-hmm.
portal.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
There
Yeah.
are many portals that are opened and being
Yeah.
opened on a daily basis. Okay, then.
Mm-hmm.
I got this one the other day. I'm standing in the kitchen and this just came to me.
Mm.
When we give birth to our children, they take away the placenta.
Mm-hmm.
How long does the placenta live for? I don't know, but my spirits told me it lived for 6 weeks.
Mm.
When a woman gives birth, she bleeds for 6 weeks.
Mm.
At 6 weeks, the baby's registered. What are they doing?
Mm.
So they have you in the matrix from the day you're born.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And they're cooking you from the day you're born.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Putting you under all sorts of pressure because that's where it comes down with the youngsters, like I was talking about yesterday. Like everything seems to have a correlation. Right, I'm saying all push now. Everything has to have a correlation.
It's a good word.
Said it push now.
we can use those words, you know. Yes, correlation.
Yeah, push, you know. Okay. No, I'm thinking. Me talking about the empathy, the dark side and the light side of it is not
Mm,
by coincidence because maybe some
no,
people actually do need to hear what's going on
yeah,
with themselves and
absolutely.
and yeah, because even I reading that little beast there, right? It's like I felt my eyes full of tears.
Do
I'm
you know?
like, right.
Me too. Me too. You know, this one I wrote.
Mm,
Oh, it was paining me. It was absolutely paining me because that is me.
mm,
It was 100% me. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is painful. And yeah, you
mm,
want to take away everyone's pain, but who takes away yours?
mm,
And I don't tell people my business and my problems. I keep
mm,
it all to myself. And
mm,
I'll go into silence.
mm,
And when I come out of that silence, it's because I've dealt with it. Then I can share it with you.
mm, mm,
Because I don't want to burden other people with my problems.
mm.
Yet it's okay for them to burden them with me with theirs.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because they feel comfortable talking to you. That's what happens. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
That's what I think with people who talk to empaths. They feel so comfortable. They're able to offload and all that stuff. I mean, I got friends that I can actually offload, but I'm sure they haven't. I'm sure if it's the other way, the other side for them. Some of them talk to people, and some of them don't.
Yeah.
So but I mean, I try not to offload on them too much my problems. If anything, I try to phone them and say hi, how you doing, even on a good or bad day,
Well, we
because
tend to read between the lines as well, don't we, of what people say to us, you know.
yeah, yeah,
You
the
know, and
tone,
so yeah, we tend to read between the lines of what they say. We listen. People think you don't listen because we talk a lot. So they think that we don't listen, but we hear every word.
yeah,
We do
yeah, that's
absolutely hear
silent.
every word. So if somebody said to me, so and so and so and so and so so is ringing me and giving me all of their drama and
Mm,
how it's making them feel, you're not going to be the person that I will ring because I don't want you
mm,
to say that I added to that. I don't want to add to your burdens,
yeah,
and so I will just keep what I'm going through. To me, once I've dealt with it, I can share it with you. It's not an issue. I've already dealt with it. You don't have to sort it out for me. You don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not going to be an energy drain. I'm not going to be a vampire on you.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that. I will deal with. I always deal with stuff myself.
Mm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I know
Yeah.
sometimes it's probably not a good way to
No.
be
No,
that
it's not.
way,
Mm.
but
Yeah. It's not. It's,
I don't know. I've just always found that that's the way I deal with things.
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Sometimes it's not the best way because what's happened is this is why I'm gonna try to do the Queen of Fua segment
Right.
because she talks about all that. You see, right? This is why when I heard stuff about her, I was kind of disappointed because her book helps with certain traumas with women who women and men because I'm sure men stores it in their lower regions or chest or wherever they store their pain. So,
I think,
so
if you look at illnesses, the illnesses
mm,
that people suffer,
mm,
there is a direct correlation between the illnesses that they suffer in the places where they suffer those illnesses. Like, say, for example, the throat chakra or the heart
yes,
chakra
yeah,
or the liver or the lungs or whatever. There's a
hmm,
reason why we suffer from the illnesses that they are connected.
yeah, they
Yeah,
are,
they are
they are,
connected. They're definitely
yeah,
connected. Yeah.
they are because what Queen Afua was looking at was the womb as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think she does actually talk about empaths in her book. When I'm going to
Mm.
do the build, I'll go check it out because I think she does actually brings up about empaths and that in her book
Mm.
somewhere along the line.
That's interesting. You mentioned about the wound because I heard somebody else talk about that, and I can't remember her name. Goddess something another on Philip Shock,
Mm,
and she spoke about the same thing about you know um, getting pregnant and being desperate to get pregnant, and then aborting and realize not aborting. She didn't abort; it miscarried,
mm-hmm,
and realizing it was herself that had
mm,
caused that to happen. And we can stop ourselves from getting pregnant and all sorts of things. The power of the mind.
yeah,
The power of the
yeah.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very. It is. Yeah, our mind, our emotions, everything.
Yeah. And we often suffer traumas in that region, don't we?
Yes.
Because,
Yeah.
as we know, there's a lot of abuse
Mhm.
within our communities that are swept under carpets.
Mhm.
So a
Mhm.
lot of young women
Mhm.
guys have been sexually traumatized and abused, and that is going to affect those regions. It's going
Yeah.
to definitely impact those regions.
Yeah. 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 For sure. I
Yeah.
mean, so that's why there's people like us now because even now, like whatever I do, I have to be in an environment where I can cleanse, get rid of, and talk to people or whatever. Because, like you, I think when I do go out, I do meet a lot. I meet new people. I can make friends quite easily. I make friends easily, and I'm very chatty, like you.
Me too. I'm
So,
very chatty. I just go on the road. Like yesterday, I went on the road and I chat to the women in the supermarket, and the lady followed me out, and she and I had a real chinwag, a real good chinwag. So yeah,
mm,
I can. I'm very very chatty. I get told off
mm,
for that. I get told off for that too by my brother.
same.
Oh, it's awful. He's like my mum. He's so narcissistic and controlling. And he'll say to me, when you go on the road, don't talk to nobody and don't try to convince nobody of nothing. And I think, oh my God,
But it's hard because
my
sometimes,
time, yeah, at my time of bloody life, you're telling me who I can associate with, who I can't associate with. I mustn't talk to people on the road. I must come back quick. Lord have
mm,
mercy, I'm telling you, I just,
but it's hard. It's hard because sometime at that point in time, right, which is where the empaths play their part, is when a person really needs, or they could be in need. You don't even know. And my thing is, right, when I do stuff for people, it comes back to me. So that's my thing. But I try not to be too much. Um,
Yeah,
because sometimes, right, it could be a danger to yourself too.
absolutely.
So you always got to be mindful of certain things as well. Well, as mind over matter will say, use this discernment
Yeah,
wherever you are, because especially with the young men as well, because even though like you might say something or you could be walking behind them, and then even though you're the elder to them, and you might say, "Oh, don't do that" or whatever, and then they can turn on you or whatever. So, um, even if you want to step in the way of a child getting bullied, that's like
yeah.
a whole level. That's like So it's like knowing the
I,
dangers
I,
as well.
well, I think it's about, like you said, about being able to discern and pick up on a situation, and I've done that where I've done it a couple of times. I
Mm,
saw three young guys coming from school, and
mm,
they pushed down one of them pushed down one of the young guys.
mm,
And I said, don't do that. The little boy was so clean that had been pushed down. I was thinking about how much work his mom had to do to keep him looking so smart going to school. And there's this other kid just bullying him and pushing him down. And they're saying, oh, it's only a game. I said, it's not my kind of game. It's not the kind of games friends play. You don't push
mm,
each other to the ground like that. That's not
mm,
friendship.
nah,
And I find that they're not rude to me at all.
mm,
The
mm,
older I've got. When I was
mm,
younger, yes, they would have been rude to me, but as I've got older, I'm finding that they're not quite as rude. However, I'm learning even more not to say anything now because I'm recognizing
yes.
what time we're in, and
Mm-hmm,
so I tend not to be involved. Oh my God, I've
mm,
I came here to my brother's one Sunday and
mm,
I saw two guys on each end of the town shouting and whatever and carrying on with each other.
mm,
And they started to move closer and closer together. And
mm,
empaths go through different times, don't they, where you get more spiritually connected and all sorts of stuff. And it was a
mm,
time where I was so spiritually connected.
mm,
And these two guys are coming to each other to want to fight each other. And
mm,
I just went and stood in the middle of them and I said,
mm,
no, please, no, no fighting. And the tears came down my eyes. I said, because I can't stand violence. I said, no, please don't. And as
mm,
they backed away from each other, I saw a girl behind one of them, pregnant,
mm, mm,
and I saw another girl behind the other guy, and it turned out that these two guys the one who was pregnant had children for the other one, and she
mm,
was shouting and carrying on and saying that the new boyfriend is a better father than you've ever been, and my kids are even calling him daddy. You can
mm,
understand how the poor other guy felt, and I just thought, there's always women in between these kind of things, and somebody could have lost their life based on
mm,
nonsense, total,
mhm,
total nonsense.
mm,
And I'm glad I stopped it.
mm.
I'm absolutely glad I stopped it. Would I
Mm.
be so quick to do that right now? No,
No,
no, I would
because they
not.
are. Yeah,
No,
because 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 you can see it in the body language as well.
you can
Body
feel it.
language,
There's a
the way they
tension.
talk to each other, the tension. You're like,
Yeah,
wow.
there's an absolute tension in the atmosphere. You can
Mm.
feel it. It's awful.
Yeah,
The energy levels of people is so low. Their vibration
yeah,
is so low. I just don't.
yes.
I'm not getting too involved. I tend to talk to people who resonate with me, and I resonate with them. I don't
Mm,
bother with the others because there's no point. There's no
mm,
point. It's at a time where people may do silly things.
mm.
Put it that way, because
Mm.
it's almost like they're not totally in control of self.
Yes, 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 yes. There's yeah, and what I'm feeling as well is like is the uncertainty. Like I said, over here it feels almost like an airy vibe to
Absolutely. You go on
me.
the road and you can actually feel it.
Yes, because even today, Saturday, okay, fair enough, it's a Saturday and whatever, it's December, the way how it was looking today, I was like, wow. Yesterday and today, I think it was very, very down. It was like my daughter, my younger one, kept saying it's nighttime. I had to tell her no. She wanted to close the curtains and put on the light. It was
It's
so
been,
dark in the
it is,
daytime.
well, now it's almost like night and day emerging into one, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
not getting an awful lot of daylight at all. I've never known anything like it. Today it was very foggy here.
very. Oh, well, it's foggy up your end. Okay.
Absolutely foggy. Yeah. I mean,
Mm,
real foggy. Like, this is high up, so you think, well, the fog is high up, but so I'm
yeah.
asking people, is it low on the ground? And they're saying, yeah, it's very low on the ground. It's horrible out there.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah. 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 Well, that's why. Well, that's why. That's why when I'm home, I burn a lot of incense. A lot of incense. Yeah, various incense. Not always the sage and all that stuff. I burn a
Well,
lot of incense to
rosemary is
raise.
good to burn, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Bay
It
leaf
is.
is good to burn too, you know.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
does
bay leaf
something.
really good.
Yeah, it does something to the atmosphere as
Absolutely. Well,
well.
it's also good for like congestion.
Yeah,
It's
it
good for
is.
you.
It
It's good
is.
for your respiratory system, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
And,
have to burn this house out because there's so many different energies that walk through the door. So
mm,
I often burn it out in here. And
yeah.
sometimes the smoke is so thick, I just
Mm,
think, oh my gosh. Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
Drawing away whatever's in the house, whatever they left
Yes,
behind, because people always leave their residue energy behind.
they absolutely do. People drop their energy all over the place, don't they?
Yeah,
They really do.
like,
And there's just, my brother has so many friends.
hmm,
So that's so many different energies coming through this door on a daily basis.
hmm,
I have to protect them. Plus, they're all over vibrational,
hmm.
and I'm not that keen. I have to be real. Do you know some people are happy to have loads of low vibrational friends? I'm not. There's no
Hmm.
point in having friends that cannot help to elevate you, that cannot elevate you, and you likewise elevate them. I don't see the
Hmm.
point. I just don't.
I know that. Well, yeah, I know that feeling because I've got the friends who does push me, and because like I said with the oils thing, they were pushing me to do it. Even now, like I said, there's one lady trying to get me back into myself, to be myself a bit more. So, but I think I'll be more creative on the digital thing more
Yeah,
than on the what's it the outside of things
yeah.
because
I
I
think
find
do what you're
huh?
good at. Do what you're good
Yeah,
at, and do what
yeah,
you feel. You're really good at this. You're
yeah,
very, very good at this. I think you need to be making money from it. I really do.
yeah,
I think you deserve to make money from it because you're coming with such organic stuff that nobody's really, really talking about on YouTube or social media. You know,
mm,
things that we need to take forward.
yes,
Like I
yeah,
said to you the other day, I'd not heard about Barbados. Being of Jamaican heritage, you tap into that, and I hadn't
mm,
tapped into the rest of the West Indies. But yeah,
mm,
that was for me. That was really, really interesting. Very, very
mm,
interesting. Yeah,
yeah. Because I was meant to do more on Dracula House. I was meant to do more on them because um I think yeah, it's added to the post-traumatic stress syndrome, which the guy meant. With the guy, the guy mentioned everything that how you and Prime talk about the other day.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of interesting.
Yep,
So, and also the sabotage relationship. And I'm like, wow,
absolutely. Yeah,
because it's random videos I'm choosing. You know what I mean? Literally, right? I
yeah,
mean, I look at them before, um, but sometime on the spot is random. So the message just stands the same. So I think what the energy, universe, whatever people choose to call it, divine, whatever. It's trying to say to people, you have to protect your energy. Empaths,
Yeah.
those who are empaths, not really get caught up in the narcissistic sort of stuff. I am watching the Nature Boy stuff still and the world stuff still, but I'm not caught up in it like before. You know what I mean? I just watch it and then I carry on
Yeah. But
because
I've not watched any of it at all.
oh, you
I
haven't.
No, I've not watched him uh, for a while. I've not watched it since last week, or no, I haven't
Mm,
watched it at all. I just,
mm,
it's just too boring for me.
yes, it is. It is
I tend
boring.
to like what you do because I can get
Mm,
into that as an
yeah,
empath. I get into that.
yeah.
All this tearing down people business. Yeah, we're all capable of that. We've all done
Mm,
it,
mm,
but it's not. That is the work of a narcissist. It is not empathetic at all. That is
mm-hmm,
what narcissists do. They tear down each other. I ain't got no
mm,
time for it. Yeah, we pass through that and go past it, but I'm not interested. I'm just so not interested in him.
mm.
No,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I follow them for a while and then I'll just leave them alone. I
Yeah, that's
can't.
what I'm doing.
I won't stick with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. So because I'm finding others now. So what
Yeah,
I'm doing. If there's drama in a panel or somewhere when I'm there, especially if I know the people, I will stand and I will say what I've got to say. I won't go up in the panel per se, but I'll say what I have to say in the chat, and I just leave it at that because I believe that the panels. I think is what I said to Copper Tone as well. The panels. This is information for backwards and forwards information. Because you're feeding me, and I'm feeding you in a
yeah,
kind of way. Yeah. So
yeah,
basically, that's right. The whole thing about these things, these YouTubes, etc., is to you have to empower because you have to go against the
absolutely,
grain of certain things
absolutely.
because negativity is always happening because even today, you know how much time I was tempted to start a live, right? Because it was just me and the baby in the house. I was tempted, and I had to tell myself, look, you gotta leave it, you gotta leave it. So, I
Oh,
was
I'm glad you
tempted.
didn't because I, d- I w- I take Saturdays kind of easy. And I said I
Mhm,
was listening to that guy. I can't even remember what his name. I'm sure I've subscribed to him,
mm,
but I was listening to him, and I didn't just listen to it once. It made
mm,
so much sense. I listened to it twice. I like
mm,
information. I like knowledge. I like
mm,
to educate myself, and I'm finding if I listen to people like King World and Foolishness, I'm not getting no education from it. It's
mm,
not feeding my spirit. I need
mhm,
stuff that feeds my spirit. This has fed my spirit
mm,
because it's showing me clearly, oh, this is who you're not a narcissist. No, I'm not a narcissist. I'm an
mm,
empath 100%.
mhm.
Somebody
Yeah.
who's had to learn and master um, my emotions.
Mm,
And I still haven't mastered it because I will bottle stuff inside of me. I will keep it in because I don't want to hurt the next person, though
yeah.
they may not mind hurting me. They tend not
Yeah.
to. Because
Yeah.
narcissists tend not to mind hurting you. They like hurting you. They get off on it.
Yeah. Yeah. They do. They do. And it's work in progress. You're constantly work in progress all
Absolutely.
the time.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so it doesn't matter how enlightened you feel you are at the end of the spectrum or whatever, because that work has to continue on.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it anyway.
And I
And
also find like spending a lot of time on my own is
mm,
fantastic.
yeah, it's nice.
Because
It's
of
nice.
being able to, because of picking up all the energies of
Mm,
those around, that,
hmm.
it's better sometimes to just go into yourself and be
Yeah.
by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
to to stay away from the negativity because we pick it up and it's awful and carry it
Yeah.
around with us as well.
Oh, yeah, exactly, exactly.
There was a
And
time when I was much younger where
mhm,
if I said something to somebody, I'd go back home and I'd reflect on what I'd say to them and the pain that I'd feel of that I've hurt that person by what I'd said.
Mm.
I'm not that way anymore, but that's how I used to be.
Mm.
I don't necessarily want to hurt people, but we all do it.
Yes.
We all do it, you
Yeah,
know?
all in different ways, and
Yeah.
it's just honestly, it's interesting, man. When it's interesting.
We tend not to
We
be great at arguments either.
Oh yeah, there's that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not great at arguments. Why? Because we don't fling things in people's face.
No, we're very sympathetic.
We absolutely are. Whereas others are quite happy to just throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink, but
Mm.
you won't do back the same to them.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it will pain you more than it probably actually even pain them to do
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes. It's true. It's true. So because that's why I chose to delete that one that
Mm.
live before,
Mm.
because I knew it was going to bring drama, and sure enough, it's bring the
I
same.
think he's dropping words anyway. I don't know if I've been going through the community section. I think he's dropping word anyway. And I just
He
think,
is.
don't you
Yeah.
think so?
Yeah. He is. He
I think
is.
he's dropping word.
He is because
I really think he's dropping word.
I reckon he has been over on this channel. I don't know whether he's been, because I am around the people that he's talking about. So
Yeah,
I reckon he's been round here. I reckon he has, but because the channel looks how it looks, the thumbnails are not like normal thumbnails, are they? So,
no,
um, so I think he cannot. I don't know whether he works it out or not work out or whatever. I don't know, or whether he can't understand what's going on. But it's a similar thing. What with King Brujo, I was looking at him today and I realized he did a voodoo wedding, and I was like, wow. And I was thinking to myself, look now, if this man said that he wasn't who he was, why would he be able to do that or be able
right.
to perform what he did? Because on there, right, you literally see him with a stick. And I'm saying that, like you said, with the tearing down thing, it's unnecessary because,
It
like,
totally is.
because we don't know people on the YouTube. We don't know them. Like, we hear and we see them, and like if we make contact outside of YouTube, that's a bonus. So unless you know the man personally, all right, I would say that um, he needs to leave him. In fact, and there's other things to talk about because even today, Aphrodamus was talking about something interesting today, and I was like, wow. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to stream it, but he was talking about something interesting today about the Wakanda idea, and that how when
Mhm.
people go to Africa, they feel it's going to be like this when it's not like that, and then they get a rude awakening or whatever. So I was like, wow, that makes perfect sense. And
Of course.
so when there's information like that about the place, because you need to get two sides of every story on everything.
Absolutely, there has to be balance. We come from a Western culture,
Yes.
so okay. I went to Jamaica in 1997, and the bloke I married lived in a board house,
Mm.
and it's a one-room board house. And what he'd done is separated it off to make like a little kitchen at the back, and that was also a bedroom. Can you
Mm.
imagine
Hmm.
a bedroom in your kitchen? And
Oh
then the
wow.
toilet was outside
Hmm.
with 3 sheets of zinc around it.
Hmm.
And he used to bathe underneath. He used a hose pipe.
Hmm.
Electricity was nicked, and so was the water. And I mean, up is ill. Well, I couldn't do it by myself. He used to have to take me up there
Hmm.
because there was no footholds. I
Yeah.
mean, some of the steps were 3 foot high. You can
Hmm.
tell me it was crazy. It was absolutely iggledy piggledy. Oh, but the view out of this absolute world. It was out of this world. I could see the Caribbean Sea. I looked down at the Caribbean Sea. I mean, can you imagine that?
Oh,
And
sounds like that.
Oh my God. And the lush greenness around you. Oh, it was amazing. And you know, I thought I could live there. I did. I really thought I could live there,
Mm,
washing the clothes with my hands and just living that real primitive, simple, easy life.
mm.
Yeah, I think I could do. You know, I think I could do it.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, it's possible. Yeah, yeah, I believe you because I remember the zinc house in Trinidad. I lived in a zinc house and
no, this wasn't a zinc house. This was a
it wasn't
board house with zinc
a
on top of
board
it.
house.
It was a shed. I mean, basically, it's what we'd call a blooming shed. And them shine the floor shiny, you see? Lord of mercy, the floor's so shiny.
Mm,
But it's so humbling
yeah,
when you see
yeah,
how those people live.
yes.
Okay, then I'll tell you what his wardrobe was. You know, curtain wire we use for net curtain.
Oh yes.
Two nail knocking either side of some board business and the
Mm-mm.
curtain wire and the clothes hang up on hanger. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But you know what? The man used to come on road sharp, you know?
Mm.
You don't think same living at any big mansion detached house.
Hmm.
Oh my days, up to his pure iron. He couldn't get enough electricity through it for it to be really, really hot. I'm telling you. No. The first time I saw him doing his washing, he had this big pan
Mm.
outside on the steps, sitting there, scrubbing with his hands. I'm like, wow.
Mm.
When you look at what we have here
Mm.
in the Western world,
Mm.
the thoughts of giving it all up,
Mm. They're
water
very
come through. I mean, listen,
humble.
I
Humble.
feel like this was concerted and they knew exactly what they was doing when they brought us here. I really do. They did. They
Mm.
knew what they were doing by bringing us here because
Mm.
when you go back, you find their way of life very difficult to accept.
Yes.
How
'Cause we
men
are
treat
Western
women, how
mind.
women treat men, how the children are,
Mm.
just everything about the how dark they are.
Mm.
They don't have information the way that we have it here, over here.
Mm.
Their worldview is very limited.
Yes.
Their perspective is very, very limited. They tend to have very foreign minds.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone want to go foreign,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
They've all got foreign minds. And
Yeah.
how greedy they are and gravelicious and kind of licky. Everything
Don't
that
scare away
comes
my Jamaican audience now.
from sorry, no, but sorry, Jamaicans. I am Jamaican, I am Jamaican and I really do love Jamaica. I really, really do. But on a need for fix up. Never telling you the
Yeah,
truth.
that's the only
On the
thing.
need for fix up. And that's one thing I love about England in a sense, is that we don't look to anybody for anything. We feel like we have to go out there and make it for ourselves.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
the Caribbean, unfortunately, what has happened is like the older generations, my parents' generation, for example, when they came here,
Hmm.
they supported their families back home. And so there became an expectation because every month little money would come through, which
Hmm.
would carry them through.
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
You
Same with
know?
Trinidad. Trinidad's the same too.
So they always holding their hands out to foreigners like foreigners are millionaires.
They do because they think England is rich.
They think it's a bed of roses.
They do. They think here's paved with gold.
Yeah, they really, really do. They really, really do.
Nice.
And do we make it bad because we've
We
got
go over
clothes?
there and floss.
I don't know. Well, they know who we are as soon as we step onto the island because we change
Yes.
our clothes every single day, three
Yes.
times a day.
Yes.
We have so flipping much.
Yes.
We
Yes. We're
really
all have to go
do.
change soon.
We have so much. And in a way, when people are so poverty,
Mhm.
they're gonna bad mind because you have too much.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So always trying to balance. That's the empath. The empath's always trying to balance, trying to balance out the thing. You know.
Mm.
But Jamaica
Yeah.
is in a bad way now. In fact, the
It
Caribbean is in,
is.
yeah, the Caribbean is in a bad way.
It is. It is. It is. There's another video I was supposed to put up about what happened in Trinidad. Was it yesterday? Yesterday they was selling from the front of the supermarkets. I think they normally sell there because they got the, you know what, rules to follow. And what
Hmm.
happened is the police came and shut it all down and told them to pick up their stuff and move from where they were selling. But I need to find the more information on it because, like, it could be any reason why they did that. It could be numbers, but
Yeah.
I know because I can't mention certain things on there.
Hmm.
It
Do you
defeats the
think,
purpose.
though, that what you see happening in the Caribbean is a barometer for the rest of the world?
Yes, it is.
I think so.
It is.
So
It
I don't
is.
miss what's happening in the Caribbean at all.
Mm.
No, I'm not going to dismiss it because I feel like it's a barometer.
Yeah, it is because that's why that video of Mr. Stoppable was asking what's going on with Jamaica because he's
Mm.
seen a lot of stuff going on, and what I like about him, he's speaking out in his own way,
Yeah.
and he's not even doing it. He's not even cussing and making up noise or nothing. He's doing it in such a nice way, and I feel if it landed on the Prime Minister's table or the Prime Minister saw his video, he would have to take into consideration a lot of things because um, the police system needed to get changed when that cult.
It is, but
The police
I
system
would
was really bad.
I'd argue that the prime minister would have to really look deeply at it, and the reason why is there is an absolute agenda that has
There
to,
isn't. There
you
is an
know.
agenda. I mean, though they're saying that how Jamaica's going to be covered up with water, and unless you're on high ground, it'd be different for you because they're saying that was said before.
Hmm.
I, sometimes right, when I open up these lives, there's lots of things that comes to the forefront because they're saying that Jamaica, the water's gonna take it over it, one soon or later. I can't remember
But
when they said.
I've heard that too. Port Royal, which I
Yeah.
have been to. I've been to Port Royal.
Mm,
That was where Captain Morgan
mm,
landed, and
yeah.
a lot of Port Royal is actually underwater.
Mm,
Yeah, a lot of Port Royal's underwater, and
mm.
Jamaica is surrounded by water.
Yeah, it is. It is because when Sister Alma showed me the map
And
of Trinidad and sorry, and Jamaica, and you see
Mhm.
the water. Oh,
like I said to you, I was in Kingston. I
hmm,
wasn't in country. I was in Kingston, and I'm
hmm,
looking down at the Caribbean Sea.
hmm, hmm. Yeah, I
And
believe you, mate.
I think it's Coptic country, isn't it? Which the Maroons live, and I
Yes,
think quite and that is stabilizing Jamaica from going underwater.
yeah, it
Now
is.
they're talking about putting a runway there, so an airport.
What?
Yeah, if they flatten it, I don't know what's going to happen. I
That's
really
ridiculous.
don't know what's going to happen to Jamaica. I think then Jamaica would become a floodplain.
Yeah,
I,
that's ridiculous.
yeah,
Because it was
because
flooding a couple months back.
yeah.
Clarendon was flooding.
Now I've been to Jamaica in rainy season, and let me tell you something: you don't go on road.
Mm.
In Kingston, the drains cannot manage the amount of water that comes down when they have rain. It's torrential. and the roads are flooded. There's a bridge. In the place where I stayed, and I've walked underneath the bridge because the riverbed underneath, and I've walked under the riverbed because it's always usually dry. And then when it rains, it comes above the bridge. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, Jamaica is surrounded by water, and if they flatten it, which they intend to do with Coptic country, then Jamaica will flood. But we can see that the landscape of the world is changing anyway, can't we?
Yeah, it's given away. Those are the edges are given away. Like
Yeah.
even here, I think there must be some waters given away here. Some hills and valleys must be given in.
Well, isn't there talk about London flooding?
Oh, please don't put that into this.
There's talk about it.
I know. They've been doing simulations for years. I
Yep.
remember watching it on Channel 5. They was doing simulations of the thing. I'm like, oh my god, please don't call that. Please don't,
Yeah,
so
I've heard that one, and I mean, someone went as far as to say you wouldn't you wouldn't be able to. The water would be higher than Buckingham Palace.
yes. Yeah.
But my spirit told me, and I wrote this on Facebook, I think 2019 or so, get out of the cities.
Hmm.
Yeah, get
Yes,
out of
they
the
were saying
cities.
you can't come out of London. They're saying come out of London. You have to
Well,
go
yeah,
uphill,
yeah,
up high.
countryside,
Yes,
less high.
yes, high. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like because I literally had to stop watching those things on Channel 5 because like you know when you watch it and then it's like you like okay right you know when you watch something and it stays in your consciousness and you dream about
Yeah,
it you feel it. You're like, no. So
absolutely.
I had to stop watching those stuff because they used to do loads of simulations on Channel 5 about various things. Oh, if this was to happen. If that, I'm like, no. It's like, no.
Mm.
And what happens is they fill up the potholes here as well. They like
Well,
down.
they used to. They used to, and that's something else. Potholes, Jamaica, Lord, in the 90s. Potholes. Oh my gosh!
Hmm.
And I would brag about England and say, "Oh, we don't have potholes like that in our country." And now, well, then they're
Yeah.
not doing the roads like they used to,
No.
and there are a lot more potholes because we're getting worse weather. We're getting a
Yes.
lot more rain and stuff, aren't we?
Yeah.
Than what we
More
used to
rain.
get.
Is
There's a
but
lot more rain.
yeah, because they're saying because what Vasco was saying that how there's going to be 3 days, but some the person on Instagram he said there'd be a week or 2 weeks of darkness.
I,
He said that's
I don't.
Bible.
Right. Now, I've been hearing talk about these 3 days of darkness, and apparently it's in the Bible about these 3 days of darkness. But if you
Hmm.
look, I don't know if you saw the Northern Lights.
Hmm. Yes, I know about the Northern Lights. I haven't seen them though.
I saw them.
Hmm.
It's interesting. I saw them.
They're very
I just looked
pretty.
at.
They're saying.
Oh my gosh. I have never seen anything so spectacular in all of my days. The
Hmm.
Northern Lights put on a show for me that excelled any performance I've ever seen in the world.
Hmm.
It was amazing.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Wow. At one point, I mean, the first color that came up was a green, a beautiful emerald green came up.
Hmm.
Orange came up,
Hmm.
um, um, indigo came up.
Hmm.
So, like all these colors of the rainbow came up, and then the final color that came up was gold.
Hmm.
It was blooming spectacular. At one point, it was like there was diamonds all the way around the sun, and it
Hmm.
started to spin, and it was letting off all these flares. It was amazing. It was
Hmm.
amazing. I saw that for 2 days in a run. on the run. The first time I saw, I couldn't even take out my phone to capture it because it was just so captivating. I couldn't
Mm,
take out my phone and even film it. It was absolutely awesome. And on that
mm,
very day, I went shopping and asked several people if they'd seen it,
mm,
and they said no. And I thought, wow, why was I chosen to see that?
mm. Yeah, maybe it was.
I feel so. Like I was chosen to see this, oh my gosh, this spectacular energy field. And I saw it again the following day. I, s-
Mm,
I could track and know exactly what time the sun was going to come up. It was coming up at 10:30.
mm,
So for 2 or 3 days, I went and looked at it. And the sun comes up, and I've noticed the sun has been coming up at 10:30.
mm. Yeah.
But it was
Wow.
listen, it was an amazing show. Absolute amazing. Now, when
Yeah.
in England were we able to see the Northern Lights? Never.
Never, never.
Never.
I think you have to go to some next place in it
I
to go
think
see
it's
it.
is it Iceland or somewhere?
Yeah, I think it's Iceland.
I think it's Iceland. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I told my friend about it, and she kind of did not believe me. But whilst I was talking to her, she went on her phone, and it came up that yeah, people were seeing the Northern Lights in Britain.
Mm.
I
And
said, well,
also,
I did see it.
yeah, and also when the moon does that thing where they said you can't look at the moon. What's it called? The eclipse. And it does the
Total
eclipse.
eclipse.
Yeah, and it does the eclipse, and um, the one thing the sky is here is good as well. At first, you couldn't see the moon before, but now it's like it's closer, a little bit
Yeah,
closer, so you
yeah.
can see it clearer now.
But have you seen the sun and the moon out at the same time?
No, I haven't, you know,
I've
or
seen the
maybe.
sun and the moon out at the same time. I've
Mm,
also seen, oh God, I see some weird stuff, me. Oh God. Oh, God. No, my bedroom is on the dark side.
oh,
The sun comes out on the front of my house.
mm-hmm,
This morning, I woke up and I'm looking through the window in my
mm,
bedroom,
mm,
and I've got glass and stuff
mm-hmm,
on on a table,
mm,
and the sun was so bright, it was illuminating, sparking on these things.
mm,
And I'm like, nah, the sun doesn't come up in the morning on the back. The
mm.
sun comes up at the front.
Yeah.
And I looked out because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I looked out, and yeah, there was the sun in the sky,
Mm,
but it looked holographic.
yes.
But I had to go and check the front because I'm like, the sun does not come out on the back in the day in the morning. It goes round and goes to the back
Mm,
4:30 ish.
yeah.
I looked at the front and the sun was out on the front too.
Mm,
And I had to go back to the back to look again. The sun was there, two suns.
mm,
And I've
yeah.
heard other people say this, but I got a
Yeah.
vision, and in the vision, it told me there are lots of suns. They're not just one, there's lots of circles that make up the sun. So it's not just one circle, there are many.
Yeah. Somebody else said that recently on one of those
Really? Do you
Yeah,
know,
somebody else
sometimes
said
I
that.
think I'm really psycho, but really and truly, this is the visions that I got. I was meditating, and that came to me and showed me all these different suns, and it's lots of suns that make up the sun. It's not just one.
Yeah.
There's loads
Yeah.
of different circles, all these
Yeah.
circles.
There
Yeah.
is,
Okay.
because there's a lady and she like they showed the clouds and you can see the forms in the clouds. You can see the lion's face. You can see the woman. You can see various things in the
Oh, I
clouds
see all sorts in the clouds. I
as
love the
well.
clouds. Yeah, I
Yeah,
look
the
in the clouds.
clouds are good messengers, as I find. When you look up,
During the early lockdown, I used to look in the clouds a lot, and the clouds would tell
mm,
me loads of stuff. The
Mm,
clouds started telling me stuff in about 2015.
mm,
And
mm.
it even showed me the test tube, and it showed me aeroplanes shouldn't be flying in the skies and all sorts of stuff. And I was telling people this in 2015, and they're saying you're crazy.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
people
like,
always
okay,
say. People, I'm like, wow, people can't, people can't think that because that's the same. That's the same thing when I was telling people that I used to see like African villages pop up in the middle in front of me, like in my
yes,
vision. So
yeah,
as I'm walking, and they will say, "No, you're watching too many films."
yeah,
But at that time, I had dreads, and I was very in tune with myself. I
yeah.
would say I was very flowy, and and um and it's like you go through not a reincarnation but a remake of
You
certain stuff
do, you
in your
do.
dream, either in dreams or awake dreams. They're like awake dreams.
Okay,
Your eyes open.
this one's going to sound really mad to you, but my body's showing me that I've gone through an ascension.
Yes. No, it's not mad. It's not bad at all.
My body's actually showing me that.
Yeah.
Because, like, people are saying to me, oh, you've put weight on, but I haven't. I've actually lost weight.
Mm,
And they're
mm,
saying, and a spirit told me today that no, it's your cells like regenerating. There's an ascension going on,
mm.
a
Yes.
regeneration.
Yes. 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 And it's not just you said that. There's another
Oh,
lady
don't tell me. Are
said
you
the same thing.
serious?
Yeah, she
'Cause,
said the same thing.
like seriously, it's like I say things, and sometimes I think, am I really, really crazy or what? Because like, and then you'll come into me, and I manifest really quickly. So like, you're saying it to me on the day when it came to me this morning. When I
Mm,
woke up, it's telling me that this is what's happening on a cellular level. There's a
mm.
regeneration going on in your body. It's an ascension.
Yeah, because another lady was told that at a certain time or the month or something like that, something something to do with ascension as well, because people thought that it was the conjunction that was gonna give them special whatever
Mm,
they thought it was, but it wasn't the conjunction. The conjunction, I feel, was just revealing a whole set of stuff, and it hasn't stopped revealing stuff because though they're
no,
saying it is the age of Aquarius, because I questioned about that before, but saying that the conjunction seemed to have opened up a can of worms because now we're seeing everybody and everything what's going on.
yeah. I was. I don't watch TV. I do not turn the TV on in my own
Mm,
home. I haven't turned the
mhm,
TV on for a long, long time.
mm,
But here, my brother puts on the TV,
mm,
and it's not my home, so I can't tell him what to do.
mm,
I don't really watch it, but every now and again, my ears will flick up,
mm,
or somebody'll say something, and I'll have a look. So
mm,
last week, this guy was here,
mm,
and they were watching something on TV,
mm,
and he said, that woman looks, her neck look weird.
mm,
And I just turned and looked at her. I said, it's because she's a man.
mm.
And I said, well, can't you see her Adam's apple? Because I can.
Mm,
It's like I've just been given these eyes. So,
mm,
like, I see people on the TV, and I'll say, well, that's a bloke.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And it was saying that we wish sometimes that we never had certain gifts or, as an empath and whatever. And
mm,
I have to say, I say it all the time. I just
mm,
wish I couldn't see. I wish I didn't hear. I wish I wasn't feeling
mm.
some of the things that I'm feeling and seeing.
Yeah, because you're here for a reason. They're here for purpose because um, that's what some people cannot get their heads around because
Yeah.
it's like you're seeing and feeling certain things and you're going it's like you're going through it's like you're like here, I mean, which is why I'm going to do the matrix one, isn't it? right, which you requested, the Matrix and the multiverse, because it's like you're going through. It's like in an illusion in a kind of way. It's like when you're sleeping, it seems more real. Your dreams and that seems more real than when you're here. Sometimes I think that how right.
That's the real world, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's like so like at one point I many times didn't want to come back here. I ain't gonna lie. Like
Have you
like
have you have you ever what do they call it again? Oh,
what
but
the 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 near death experience.
no, I've not had that one. I've not had a near death experience. No, the one out of body experience.
I haven't had the outer body, but I used to have near death experience when I was younger.
Wow,
And
I've had out of body.
ah,
I had that when I was 10, about
what?
10,
Oh,
and um it was weird. I'm in the room with all my family,
hmm,
and all of a sudden I'm up on the ceiling.
hmm,
My spirit is on the ceiling,
hmm,
not my flesh, because I saw my flesh sitting in the chair,
hmm,
and I could see all my family. The TV was on, but they were all so loud.
hmm,
So like I've never felt like I belonged to them.
hmm,
And as it's gone on, I recognise that I chose to come to Earth,
hmm,
and I chose my mum.
hmm,
And I was saying this about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I said it to my niece, who got it, who understood, and I'm glad it was her that I spoke to, because many people don't get it. And
hmm,
I said to her, I feel like I chose to come here because I thought that I could do better than what others have done,
hmm,
and I chose my mum. But
hmm,
I don't feel like she was the woman that I, she was a good womb. I
hmm,
knew she would deliver me,
hmm,
but as my caring, nurturing, loving, wonderful mom, she wasn't the right person. She wasn't my mom.
hmm.
I don't know if you get that.
Yeah, I do.
You
I
know,
do.
sometimes you can't. Yeah,
It's
like
like you don't belong. Is that in that
no, I
respect?
didn't. No, I didn't belong to her. I didn't belong to. I knew I belonged to my dad,
Hmm,
and at that time, I knew my brothers and sisters. I belonged to them too.
hmm,
But my mom, no, she wasn't my real mom. She was just the woman that gave birth to me, the woman that I knew would carry me and bring me to earth safely and deliver me safely.
hmm, hmm,
And I
hmm,
always used to pray that they'd take me and put me into care,
hmm.
because I just couldn't cope with everything, all the different energies that was in the house.
Well,
No, I couldn't cope with it. I always felt like they were too loud. And now I'll make excuses for myself, and I'll say, I'm sorry if I'm loud. It's where I come from, and you can't help where you come from. Really, you're going to pick up some of those traits, some of those habits,
yes,
from being with the family that I was with. But no,
yes.
I didn't feel like I belonged to
Hmm.
my mom at all. No.
But that's always the way to to some children. The yeah, the belonging, not belonging because it's like you're not part of this world
No.
um, as well, because with my situation it wasn't right. I was more like I was the strange one. Uh,
Mm.
things when things happen to me, right, it was like strange, like really strange, like I said with the near death experience. Where
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like you're in a tunnel. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're in a tunnel. When the people who's trying to bring you back, it all sounds like a tunnel vision kind of business.
Wow.
And it's like you can hear them working on you, all that. And it's happened to me a few times, but like the Baba that I went to see, he said to me what I should have been dead. He said, and
Wow.
so I was like, wow, yeah, like you, I was like that, and so I think, but this, oh, she's gone, but this is like I said, during like after doing all the therapies and stuff with people, and when you're going through a bit of depression, etc. So apparently, I should have been in death door, knocking on death door, but I have had moments where it has come and gone. So what Christine's saying, it's not far fetched at all because like I said, like before we come here, we're in a waiting room, innit? We're in a waiting room, and it's like you get chosen for which family you're designated to, could be good or bad or indifferent. So um, I think with most people, some people are put with bad families to teach them lessons. Like you come back because you have to learn the lesson. So you will come back, come back. Um, the only way you would know your reasons why you're here is when you come to that conclusion in your head. Okay, I'm here to do this. It takes a little time. Like I said, you're always work in progress. So empaths particularly, they have this they particularly the empaths who comes back because they've been there before. They know they got some kind of work to do. They have to go to all types of. I can hear her. Oh yeah, oh there she is. It's like they go through all types of adversities and stuff like that, so that they, in fact, can make a change. And then, so when you are suffering, when you are suffering and going through what you're going through, this is all lessons. But most empaths, most healers, I will say, are mostly the ones who's been through the ringer. Their parents don't like them. The what's he call it? They've been through a whole heap of things. So they end up the hurt healer, as the saying goes, the hurt one ends up healing people. Oh, you're not hearing nothing. Refresh it. The hurt healer, the hurt one. Let me see. I haven't blocked you by accident. Let me check. I haven't blocked her. I can see her. Okay, that's Philly. Yeah. So so the hurt one turns into the healer. That's the same one who turns out the one who goes and heals the family. That's the empathic trait. They're the ones who go out and they do the work. Oh, can you hear me? So they're the ones who go out, do the work, and they go and they do other works. They go on healing other people. As for the star seeds, that's a whole nother conversation altogether. Because there are star seeds, but it's not everybody that's planted on Earth is a star seed or indigo or whatever people's terms or whatever. So there are certain people who have gifts. Like I said, not everybody is an empath, but people throw the words empath around like it's nothing because empaths have to learn lessons and to say the no. They have to make the boundaries. They have to be able to function in work, play, whatever, relationships. So, um, like I said, and I repeat, we who come here or chose to be here, we choose to be here. As one Baba said, right, we the children, we choose our parents. So the empaths choose the parents. They choose who the parents they want to be born with, good, bad, and indifferent. And they go through a whole set of drama in their life, teenagers, from young to teenagers onwards, and they're the ones who either go change the family karma as well, because the family karma, there's always one person who's termed the black sheep in that family, and that one's normally the one who go and change things in most cases, because it can go the other way. They can be the one who can be something else. So basically, but yeah, near death experience is a whole nother conversation. If people's been through near death experience, that's a whole nother conversation, because because it's not the time for you to go. So that's why your body be floating above the bed. You'll hear them working on you, trying to wake you up, resuscitating, all that stuff. There's a whole heap of things I can say on here, you know. You know what stops me from trying to say certain things? Because I know that somebody's going to come and say no. So I'm just going to say that, really. So, you know, because it's 2 now, I'm not going to linger on here long. But Christine, that was a good talk still. You know, it's a good conversation. I see a few people's come through. Sunkiss, I need to get Sunkiss up here too as well. Sunkiss, she has some great information. I think she does some works herself. Sunkiss. So when Sunkiss is about, she needs to jump on the panel as well. Yeah, so with that said, I am going to close down because it's 2 o'clock. I need to get some sleep. But empaths, you need to protect yourself. You need to say no. You don't necessarily need amulets, amulets and trinkets. It's all the mindset. It's all the state of mind. You can actually protect yourself. Even when you put yourself into isolation, but you have to have a way that you can be in isolation and still be in contact with people. You still got to be sociable. So you have to make sure, if you are a crystal person, wear your crystals. If you are one who knows about color, you wear your colors. Sometimes, if you are able to cover your head, you cover your head. I mean, they say mostly it's for religious reasons. Look at me, all that. But you can actually cover. You need to cover your hair. Those wearing wigs, well, you're covering your hair anyway. So I ain't even gonna look at you or any which way. But you have to have a couple things. You have to ground yourself. Like I said, with everything, you still have to ground yourself. You have to say, I mean, I haven't said a ancestral prayer on here for a while, so I might just do it on here because that's my way of my thing. But you have to be able to say, even if you say, okay, I know people don't believe in the Bible. Psalms are very powerful tools. Okay, Psalms, prayers, chants, however, whatever you into, wherever your thing is. Naya Bing's music normally is good because when they're singing, that's a whole another frequency altogether. If you are into the batter drum, all right, you have to play all of them, all of the Orishas from start to finish, you know, and then you have to say thank you for coming, and then continue your life. Right, music, find a frequency music that you can run with, a calming one, water. I cover my hair every day. You become less easy to, yes. That's why I cover my hair. I feel more secure in my hair cover, and because I'm of age as well. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is now, before I go to the next way, the next level, next somewhere else, and start talking in circles and go around, around, around. I'm gonna come off and I'm gonna say thank you for those who came through. I'm gonna leave the chat on, obviously. So, hold on. So, thanks for coming through, Christine, and being on the panel as usual. Thanks, Big Philly G, for co-hosting through. Oh yeah, and go to his channel as well. I'll say Sun Kisses on there. Oh yeah, Miss Real. Ain't seen her for ages. Tripsies. Where's Sun Kiss? Let's see. Oh yeah, Sun Kiss as well. So those who's listening and who came in and out, I hope the information's helped you. I might have to crop a couple things or take out a couple things, but um, there is a lot of people who is very spiritual or term spiritual, awake. I don't even know all the different sayings now. There are all different sayings for all these things now. So please come true, have a chat. Even if you are a channel who's already a big channel, whatever, you can come true, have a chat on certain subjects if you're drawn to it. Because I see Sunkiss. Sunkiss must have seen me, or she's drawn to it. So Miss Sunkiss, when you're ready, you can come through on panel 2, and Philly even, because he does his dietary thing. Sister Amma, Miss Wise, Real Talk, because Real Talk was doing her exercises the other day. Because this is all, everything works together. Writing books, writing things down, do a lot of that, which I need to get back to do it. I did a little bit of my challenge today, so I got my little girl to do little things. So yeah, but I am going to come off, before I go off on a tangent. And also, have a good morning, a good afternoon. Please take care outside there. Be watchful, be mindful of your energy. Okay? Do not give in to toxicity. Okay? And if a person is toxic and you are empath, you need to go in and you need to say something in chats or whatever. Don't sit there and watch everything happen in front of you. You sound your voices. That's what you're giving your voice for. So, yeah, okay? So, with that said, I'm going to come off. Have a good night. And thank you again, Christine, for coming through. I think Optimus and Develop must be it's different time zones. So, yeah. So, with that said, yeah, I'll take care.